Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 2017's Fist Fight. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you can follow me at Junior D's, you can follow Corey at Corey_idol. And as always, if you want to follow the show, you could follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews.
Hooray!
So, yes, hooray for sure.
And before you jump into the cast and we get off on the movie, I did want to let everybody know my background here. We got big news. Armando has finally read all of your comments and has decided to give me a raise so I may actually contribute the same kind of audio-visual enjoyment that you get to enjoy on his side of the screen. So I am in the process of moving. It'll look like shit maybe behind me for a couple of weeks. But after that, my sound quality will be amazing. They are literally building my studio as we speak. So
You're welcome.
Thanks for the raise and allowance, Dad.
Hey, you're welcome, buddy.
You're not my real dad, David. I don't know.
Well, let's get into the cast of 2017's Fist Fight. This movie stars Charlie Day as Mr. Campbell, Ice Cube as Mr. Strickland, Tracy Morgan as Coach Crawford, Jillian Bell as Holly, Dean Morris as Principal Tyler, JoAnna Garcia Swisher as Maggie, and Alexa Nisenson as Allie. I don't know. Nisenson. Again, no research, so I just shot from the hip.
Yeah, you're in a movie. Don't get mad at us that we got your name wrong.
Yeah, we only do a movie review show. You want me to get your name right, too? I mean, Jesus Christ. You can only ask so much from me.
Nobody watches this show for facts.
Nobody, baby. This is obviously a fairly new movie. It was 2017. I saw this whenever it came out on, I don't know, Amazon, I think, when I rented it, whatever. Surprisingly, not available outside of actual renting on any streaming service right now.
Well, we know that's because it's produced by that racist fucking frog over at the WB.
Hell yes.
You know what? Fuck that frog too. I know we've had a few shows where, you know, we've gone on our WB rants. So this is another Warner Brothers film. So the clips, if any, will be sparse throughout this one. So you're just gonna see this shit, and that shit, and that's all you're gonna see for the most part. But when this movie came out, obviously we're huge Always Sunny fans. I'm a huge Charlie Day fan. Obviously, I'm a huge Ice Cube fan. So this like appealed to every ounce of my being when it came out, and I loved it when I first saw it. I still love it. It's only, 5 years later, 6 years later. So I still love it. And I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times since it came out. So this is probably going to be, there's going to be a lot of tongue kissing in this. And I love this and how it's set up. And, but yeah, so that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you jumped right to the end of this. So cool.
Glad I could help.
But I know why you jumped to the end of this, and that's because you could not possibly have related to this movie because you grew up a rich fucking elitist scumbag. Whereas trash bags like me actually went to public school, and this is a totally different experience for us. Where we need to really pick out scene by scene because all of this shit was real life in a public school.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't me.
But I know something about you. You went to Greenfield. That's a private school.
This movie opens up and it's really funny that you bring up the whole, you know, public versus private school and that whole thing. Because this movie opens up on like the last day of school, public school. And apparently it's the last day of school at Rikers Island High School. Because these motherfucking kids, like, okay, I get it. They're seniors and pulling pranks and yada yada. And it's a public school, so there's kind of no rules. But I obviously had a lot of friends and family and yet that went to public school. There were some fucking rules. These motherfuckers are coking up a horse and getting it through the hallway. And again, I understand it's a comedy. So everything, and this is what I appreciated about it. There wasn't one or two characters that were way over here and everybody else was way over. The entire cast of characters, the teachers, the students, the principal, everybody's out here. When the whole movie's out here, it makes everything funny and believable, to be perfectly honest, because you're living in this universe the whole time.
Yeah, the one time somebody walks in and goes, "This is all bonkers. What are you doing?" It totally drops the whole world building you've set of this entire crazy fucking school. And speaking as a trash bag that went to public school, and this movie coming out 20 years after I graduated, I'd say I could believe that what some of these kids would coke up a fucking horse and run it through the halls of a fucking school.
That's fair.
Because we wild out for 97 standards. So you up that 20 years later when they're like having fucking blowjob parties as freshmen? Like, yeah, they're going to do some crazy shit.
So
the amount of dicks in this movie, though, has to rival only Superbad.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of dick drawing, which, you know what, I really appreciate. Is there anything funnier than the human penis?
No, it's silly.
It's a gangly, weird looking fucking thing. Like, what are you? Are you a fucking Roman centurion? Why are you wearing a helmet? It makes no sense.
It's got to protect his head. Got to protect your neck. So we're introduced at the very beginning of this movie to Mr. Campbell, who's this like meek English teacher, never sticks up for himself. We also see Mr. Strickland, who is literally the most feared history teacher teacher period in the history of American high schools.
Yes, I had my history teacher was about 6'2", fucking jacked to the fucking gills. Not as big as me now, but like he was big motherfucker. Was one of the football coaches. Giant, like what you'd see like in a like we got to beat the Germans guys kind of movie. He's the German. And he was nowhere near as intimidating as Ice Cube is in this movie.
Yeah, Ice Cube just has that look. It's all in his eyes. He's got that look. And it's really funny because throughout this movie, like even when, on all his interactions with Charlie Day, when he tells him to stop in the hallway, and all he's trying to do is help him out because he sees the thing and whatever. And Charlie Day just immediately shits his pants. It's all right here. It's all in his fucking eyes. And I'm there for every minute of it. And he leans into it. And it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. And this is actually a good litmus test to see if any of your family members may be racist. Because if you watch this movie with them in the safety of your own home and Ice Cube pops on screen walking down the school hallway with a fucking bat in his hand, I guarantee you if your mom goes, "Have you seen my purse lately?" She's racist as fuck, bro.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
This movie is set up. So all the teachers are worried because last day of school, they're going through like evaluations. They're in danger of losing their jobs because of budget cuts. And Campbell is really worried because his wife is pregnant. He can't afford to lose his job. So he's stressed out about the whole situation. And he gets pulled out of class by the meth-addicted guidance counselor, Holly. And she tells him that basically everybody in the English department, which is what he teaches, they've all been fired already. So he's probably safe as far as that goes.
Yes. And low-key, I have got the biggest crush on Jillian Bell.
Dude, so I do too. I put her up there as a comedic actress with with Dee from Always Sunny. Like,
oh yeah,
every time she's on screen, whatever character she's in, and it's usually a character like this, and she crushes this shit. Like, the whole movie, she's trying to, like, fuck all the students.
He wants to fuck me. He's just playing games.
But she likes to smoke meth. She wants to fuck all the, like, the football players. And it just, her comedic timing, facial expressions, like, and the seriousness of how she, like, attacks the character is fucking brilliant. Like, I love her to death in this.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Campbell then catches a student in the bathroom jerking off, which is probably, out of the whole movie, one of my favorite scenes. So he hears, like, the little, and then he goes into the stall, the kid's jerking off. And that's not the funny part is the kid, like, he, like, turns to the side and he continues to jerk off. That's the best part and what makes that whole joke. And then it comes up later in the movie again. That's what makes the joke funny for me.
This is the only relatable scene in this movie for you, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. Hey, listen, I got caught. Cool beans. Let me finish. Like, let's
face facts. If you get caught in a Catholic school, they're going to help you finish.
Hell yes.
Father Tony was absolutely helping you finish.
We got to get this sin out, my child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where God hid all the sin.
Suck the sin out.
And during this scene, we see Mrs. Monet, who overhears, like, the whole thing happening. And this Mrs. Monet in this scene and it throughout this movie basically is patterned after every redhead woman I ever met in my life. Because this bitch is crazy as fuck.
Yeah, what's crazy is I had a hot redhead teacher in my trash bag public school. Her name was what was it? Miss Malcor. And everybody knew I had a crush on her, and she kept fucking with me. Like, oh, you gonna send me a Valentine's Day card? You gonna ask me to the prom? Like, she would fuck with me relentlessly. And all I did was masturbate over it. I did it everywhere. That school is covered in my DNA.
I'm sure it is. I am sure it is. The rectory was only covered in my DNA, so not the whole school. But so on his way to class,
it's pronounced rectum. We've talked about this.
Sorry.
Not rectory, rectum.
So on his way to class, Campbell is stopped by Strickland, who's having trouble with the AV system in his room, and he's still got a VHS player in his fucking thing with the tube TV and the whole nine. So Campbell goes in and helps him with it. He sees that one of the students is using the remote control app to turn the TV on and off. Campbell loses his shit here and breaks out the fireman's axe. Students scatter, and he just smashes the kid's desk to bits.
I love it.
I'm here for every minute of it. And Charlie Day is so taken back by the whole scene. He's just frozen. Like, he doesn't really move a whole lot in this scene.
No, he's that guy that gets shot when gunshots start ringing out. He's the guy we constantly talk about. When shit breaks out, run, motherfucker, run.
Yep.
What are you doing, dude? But
he is frozen in fear. And this is the most
important part. Because he didn't run, he became the worst thing you could be, which is I fucking witness.
Yes, absolutely.
No,
absolutely. Thank you. Because they go to the principal's office here, and by the way, the principal Tyler, I fucking like this. They couldn't have picked a better actor for Principal Tyler, and it seems like Dean Norris like plays a lot of these types of characters. Sure. But he is perfect because even in like Breaking Bad, he's still funny. He's like, he's a funny dude. So it was literally like the same type of character that he was playing here. And He plays it brilliantly.
I don't have time for this today.
What I think is one of the harder jobs in acting, not that I'm a fucking actor, so what would I know? But I would imagine one of the harder jobs in acting is knowing the joke is on you.
Yeah.
But having to play it straight. And that's what he is so good at. Like, you referenced, what was his name? Hank from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Hank's a doofus throughout most of that show.
Yeah.
That's how he's portrayed in all these family settings and, you know, his Hawaiian shirts. He's that real kind of alpha macho guy, or he's trying to play that TV cop guy. And that's the joke. So for him to be able to do that, but play it has everybody thinks I'm cool.
Yeah.
Is really, really impressive to me.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
It really is. It really is. And I have a quick don't do that for this whole scene.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, literally everybody out there. As Corey stated before, the worst thing you can be is an eyewitness. So if shit goes down, put your head down and run. But now you're caught up in a situation where you didn't. You froze in fear, and now you're being questioned. And I don't care if it's the cops, the principal of your school, whatever. There's a reason why the term snitches get stitches exists, okay? Don't snitch. No, just, I don't know what happened. The principal literally tells Charlie Day in this scene that the student said nothing happened. Strickland is obviously not moving on any of his story, which is nothing happened. And then as soon as he says, well, what if I fire both of you? Listen, if they fire you, they fire you. It's fine. You found a job when you were looking for this one. So you'll find another job eventually.
Yep.
But don't do what Charlie Day does here and snitch. That's the worst thing you could do.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember how old I was. Maybe 7th grade, 8th grade, maybe. But an ex-girlfriend of mine was being a real bitch on Halloween, and a couple of guys and I smashed her pumpkin. And she very clearly knew it was us. And I ended up ratting. And the guy I ratted on chased me home. And my dad was like, why are you running home? And I'm like, this guy's chasing me home. And he said, why? And I said, because I fucking told on him for smashing this pumpkin. And my dad literally told me to go out there and let the guy punch me in the face one time.
A similar story occurred in the state of New Jersey about 20 years ago.
Smashed my face and we were good after that. So don't rat or you get punched in the face.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yep.
Sometimes.
And I deserved it.
But this is the whole crux of the movie. If you take the snitching out here, you don't get this movie. So we move on, because immediately after this, Strickland challenges Charlie to a fight here, and they're going to meet after school. And now we get 3 o'clock high, but in 2017. And everyone immediately finds out about hashtag teacher fight because of social media, Twitter. And Campbell then goes 3 o'clock high here and tries everything in his power to try to either get out of the fight or prevent the fight from happening. It's kind of like the old Eddie Murphy bit when you're falling down the stairs. Just kind of let it happen. Like, he's trying to hold it and stop the shit. Like, just fucking let it happen. You're making it worse.
Yeah, like, again, I get it. We're in a comedy and you're going to hyperbolic lengths to try and stop this thing from happening because your character is so over the top fucking a coward. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, dude, just an ass whooping will heal a lot faster than whatever the fuck is you're going through right now.
Yes, because he's going through huge lengths because his daughter's got her, I don't know, talent show or whatever. He's worried, so he's got to get there in the afternoon, which we'll get to that whole story and situation. But he's worried about his wife because she's pregnant and he doesn't want to lose his job. And so I get all of these things. And it just sets him up as like he's basically like this little caged animal. He's like afraid of everything.
Oh, 100%.
And
100%. And even his wife says to him, because through part of his ruse, he goes to buy MacBook Pro for one of these fucking kids to recant his story so he can get Strickland his job back.
Yeah.
And his wife catches him in the parking lot and basically is like, oh my God, I was worried you weren't going to stand up for yourself, because she thought he got fired already.
Yes.
And that's why he's out during school hours. When that happens, when your wife is like, you don't stand up for yourself, kind of your thing. Make a fucking change in your goddamn life, dude. That would humiliate me to no end.
Yes.
To no end. And I'm not one of these, like, the man needs to work and the woman barefoot and pregnant. That's not me at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want anybody to be like, you're a pushover and it's your thing.
No, for anybody, I think, to be known as a pushover is like, ugh. It hurts. Hurts a little bit.
Yeah. And he immediately dismisses it and goes and buys another MacBook Pro for the kid because he had to give that one to his wife to cover his lie. So not only have you probably spent around $4,000 on a teacher's salary in a fucking 10-minute span, your wife told you you're a fucking pussy in front of your daughter. And you were just like, yeah, you're probably right.
Campbell here then gets the student, Neil, to finally recant because he bought him the MacBook Pro. And they go to the principal and he gets Strickland his job back. And Holly then texts both Campbell and Strickland and gets them to the Model UN room for this mediation. And again, the text, because she texts Ice Cube that she was getting raped. And then she texts Campbell, I forget what the hell she texted him, but like Ice Cube busts in and he was like, did he rape you? Like he's ready to like beat some ass.
Oh, he's going to go crazy.
The whole scene is just fucking brilliant. And they get into mediation mode and he tells Ice Cube that, I got you your job back and yada, yada. And Strickland's like, well, you should have fought. Now I want to beat your ass more. You should have asked me because I don't want my fucking job back. Campbell then tries to set Strickland up by buying drugs from the same student he got the MacBook Pro from. And he tries to plant drugs in his bag in his classroom. And then he calls the cops. And this whole thing goes fucking sideways. And then they both end up arrested.
Yes. As they probably should have been, because they're both acting like fucking morons right here. Yes. And we haven't even brought up Kumail's completely inept security guard.
Oh God, yes. Who I love this dude in everything he's in.
He crushed it. He, for the longest time, had this role in every movie where he showed up. He was a bit part, did his work, same character every time, and he fucking crushed it. Everybody thought he was hysterical when they left the theater.
Yep.
And then he finally started to blow up. Like he was in The Eternals. He did that movie with him and his wife about her being ill. Just really good. I think it's called The Big Sick. But yeah, he's fantastic in this as the inept security guard. And then them in jail. Again, dude, like you go to and I like how Ice Cube in jail, before we go to the lengths Charlie Day still goes to try and get out of this fucking fight.
Yeah.
I like Ice Cube's explanation here when they're in jail. Because he's like, at first I just wanted to beat your ass because you got me fired. He's like, and then he wanted to make the point. And then we see kind of like, he's not just this fucking rage-infused fucking monster teaching your kids. He actually gives a shit about his job, and he likes his job, and he's fucking sick and tired of the disrespect he's getting from the school board for all teachers. And he just wants to make a statement. And he's saying, if I can show them how far they have pushed us, maybe it would make a change. And then he's like, now you're just so fucking pathetic. I don't even want to fucking fight you.
Yeah. Until
which again, that should hurt your heart.
It really does.
When somebody is like, you've made me so mad I want to beat the shit out of you. And then they get to know you for 5 minutes. And they're like, you know what? You're so pathetic. Fuck it.
You were right.
But yeah, that should make you feel terrible about yourself. You are such a wet blanket of a human being. You're not even worth somebody's anger.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's bad. And he does go to one more length here in the jail cell where he finds the biggest dude and basically tells him that Strickland called him a bitch and wants to fight him, and does the whole if he nods and yada yada. And then you get Ice Cube saying that he doesn't want to fight anymore because he's such a coward and a pathetic ass that he doesn't want to fight, does the nod, and then they get in the thing. And Ice Cube beats the fuck out of this dude who is like 3 feet taller than Ice Cube. And totally believable. Totally believable. Like,
oh, yeah.
We're so, like I said, we're so up here in the stratosphere of these fucking characters. Seeing Ice Cube beat the fuck out of this dude is totally believable in this scenario.
Yes, 100%. And Ice Cube, I feel like here has a very important message, which is when people look like Ice Cube, and I don't mean black, you racist fuck. I mean the shape and size of him.
Yes.
Right? Shorter, a little stocky, built. Don't fuck with that guy.
No.
That guy was made by God to beat wholesale ass.
Hell yes.
So after being released, Campbell then speeds back to school because he has his evaluation. They make him wait. And like now he's got a timeout the whole getting to his daughter's recital or talent show. So he gets pissed here because now he's going to be like really late for this thing. And he finds out that not only, you know, other teachers got fired, but Holly, and all the other what's his name, Coach Crawford, they're all fired, and Ms. Monet, the crazy bitch, they've all been let go. And Campbell then gets into the board meeting, loses his shit, basically tells them to fuck off and pound sand, and they suck at their jobs and yada yada. He slams the door and he fucking takes off.
What up, Dennis Haysbert?
Love that guy too.
That's our man.
And by the way, this is the only thing that I found that is true to life. Okay. And I'm going to do another quick don't do that here.
Don't do that. It's not good for you.
Hi, meek people, wet blanket cowards, if you will, out there. If you continue to let people walk all over you, this scene is really what happens. And this scene is just a really light comedic version of falling down. Like, that's what eventually happens. If you don't do what Charlie Day does here, don't go watch the movie Falling Down and see what happens in that. If you let people kind of push you around, there is a breaking point for everybody. Some people, it's literally an inch. And some people, you got to push them. But those people, you got to push a mile to hit that breaking point. When they break, they're broken. Period. So don't do that. Yeah. Stand up for yourself.
People like us who have like no fuse at all, we blow up for about 15 seconds. And then we're like, cool, you want to go get some ice cream or something?
Absolutely.
Totally done. Guys with this long fuse for years and years and years, like Milton in Office Space. They just go on taking shit, and then one day they burn the motherfucker down because they're done. They go to that next level extreme. Yeah. And I love this scene. I love it in the movies where the meek guy finally gets his backbone and stands up for himself. That's one of my favorite parts. I love when he tells Dean Norris, if you ever keep me waiting, I'll punch you right in your fucking mouth.
It's so great.
That's amazing.
Doesn't he tell him to take your halibut and shove it up your ass?
And what I love here too is it's not only that he's standing up for himself, but he also knows that he has the backing because they can't fire anybody else.
Yes.
So he truly in this moment can say whatever he wants to say.
Yep.
And they're fucked. They've already made the decisions.
You're right again.
By far, I think the most popular scene, which again is all over like TikTok and whatever, is the next scene that comes up, which is the talent show, which Mr. Campbell and his daughter have been practicing their dance, and they were going to do a song from Rent. And he was late. She wants to do a Big Sean song, and he's late. So she does the song from Rent. And again, very meek, very shy. There's the bully girl in the front row who's ripping on her. They get there and then they perform the Big Sean song, which is her version of what Charlie Day just did in the office in front of the school board.
Yes, this is the 8-year-old version or however old she is. And it's, I know, like, we shit on kids in movies a lot, especially me, because I hate the little fuckers. But I found to be absolutely delightful, because they set her up throughout this whole movie where she is being bullied. She's trying to talk to her father about it. He's dismissive as fuck because he's got his own world going on. And then for it to culminate at the end where not only does she stand up to her, but he doesn't be like, oh my God, like, we fought, like he says, like, I'm sorry for the language in the song, and that's all I apologize for. Fuck it. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely.
Awesome. And if your kid is being bullied, that's how you should behave. If not, the way they, Colin Farrell's character behaves in True Detective Season 2, where he beats the shit out of his son's bully's dad in front of him.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, and the one thing, and I do agree with you mostly on, she was delightful and she's a really good actress. The only one thing, and I know you're going to fucking rip on me, so go right ahead. The one thing that I really, you know what it is? It's these phone calls between parents and their kids in movies that it's spine tingling, where it's like, and it's because I'm an adult now. And I'm like, yes, there are extenuating circumstances. What I wanted him to do is break character and go, Ice Cube wants to beat the fuck out of me. Stop crying about me not being able to make it to your talent show on time, okay? Do you want to switch spots? Because I'll go sing fucking the song from Rent, and you can get your ass beaten by fucking Ice Cube, okay? In 2 scenes. That was the only one, because she hangs up on him. Oh, if there's anything that gets my blood boiling, don't you fucking hang up on me. It's over. I will burn down the world after somebody hangs up on me.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
I am so tempted. Like, I'm fighting my hand from hitting the end call button right now. I am so tempted just to end this call.
Oh, but yeah,
like
that was
my hand is sentient. It is independent of me, and it is trying so hard.
That's the only thing I really didn't like. I was like, oh my God, it's like they knew. They knew. Armando's having too good of a time with this movie. We're throwing this scene here, and she's going to hang up on her father. We finally get to the fist fight, and it's the epic battle between Strickland and Campbell, the 3 o'clock high scene, where there's, again, way too many people outside. Now, at least they built it up in this movie that, like, he goes to the Apple store to buy the MacBook, and people at the Apple store are like, oh my God, did you hear about the teacher fight? Like, I'm totally fucking going to this thing. So they built it up where it wasn't just the students and the teachers showing up to see the fight. It was literally everybody in this town, except for his wife, who doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Literally everybody else knows except for his wife. But they get into the epic battle. It goes back and forth. It spills into the school until Campbell knocks Strickland out with the fire extinguisher. And this was my favorite part about this whole thing, because it's like, oh, the little guy won, and the meek guy, the coward, he's victorious. Yeah. And he's doing the dance outside of the school, the celebratory dance, until fucking Ice Cube comes out and knocks him the fuck out.
Yep. I remember when I watched this the first time, I was really disappointed that Charlie Day won. And I love it when the little guy wins.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with that. But it's also like, dude, you've built up Ice Cube to such a grand level of fighting and strength
Yeah.
that fucking Conor McGregor wasn't going to beat him in a fight. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
So, and I get it. Like, oh, I improvised and I worked hard and I used everything around me. But great. At the same time, though, Ice Cube is knocking you the fuck out and he's winning that fight.
Oh, 100%.
So when that actually is what happens, I was like, okay, cool. Like, again, you haven't forgot as a writer how you built your character up.
Yes.
You haven't just ditched fucking an hour and a half of goddamn backstory and all of this shit just to have it thrown down the fucking garbage disposal so Charlie Day can win the fight.
Yeah. Well, and what I do like...
Sorry,
no. What I do like about the fight is that he doesn't win the fight because he uses his smarts and his blah, blah, blah. It's an accidental win, if you notice.
Yeah.
Like the one, he's backing up, he's getting tackled, and he trips on like the book bag and flips Ice Cube into that's what I liked about the writing of this. It wasn't, oh, he finds his courage and all of a sudden he's fucking Popeye. Like, nah, that's not how. He's accidentally winning this fight with a couple of like little things that happen that like people are like, holy shit, look at him go. So I liked that piece of it. But like you said, I like the end piece because he's like, yeah, I fucking did it. And then Ice Cube knocks him the fuck out because that's what would have happened.
Right. And the message throughout this whole thing is not him winning the fight. It's just him standing up for himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, most little guys. Uncle Corey here. If you stand up for yourself, that's awesome. But you're going to lose a lot of fights. Trust me. It's going to take a minute, but eventually people are going to learn it ain't worth the time because you're going to hurt the bully just as much as they're going to hurt you.
Yeah. Now, take it from a little guy.
Throw it out.
Yeah, take it from a little guy. I'd say about 80% of these confrontations never even lead to a fight.
No.
So if the minute you stand up for yourself, listen, somebody's going to break it up. You're not going to get this epic fight here. A bouncer at a bar, a security guard, whatever. Somebody's jumping in. Get a hit in, and you've stood up for yourself, and you're good to go. 9 times out of 10, the shit's getting broken up within 10 seconds of it starting.
Yeah, and then there is that 10th time where you're the guy dazed and confused, where you go in with that attitude, and then you just get the shit kicked out of you.
100%, 100%. But
nobody breaks it up.
so you gotta be expecting that one. It can always be that one.
Yep.
But after the fight, his wife calls. Ice Cube answers the phone because Charlie's knocked the fuck out, and he takes him to the hospital for his baby to be born. And then we cut to sometime later in the summer. It cuts to the Campbells. They're having this barbecue. Holly, Crawford, their other friends are there. And Principal Tyler shows up and tells Campbell that the fight attracted so much attention that he needs to hire him back. The school board is pressuring him, and he'll basically lose his job if he doesn't get him back. And Campbell says, one stipulation, hire all the teachers back, which they do. And then we cut to the next school year. It's like the first day of school. Strickland returns to his job. Him and Campbell are friends now, I guess, and they're sending people to detention and yada yada as they're taking control of Rikers Island High. And the movie ends as they give the fist bump and the whole thing. And dude, this movie is laugh out loud funny. Period.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of parts where I still laughed out loud. Even having seen it a few times. Look, I think you covered it all at the very beginning. Charlie Day, we're obviously fans of him on this show. Ice Cube, we've already spoken at length about Ice Cube in the few movies we've done of his.
Yes.
I mean, everybody in the cast are these bit players in the improv community or the stand-up community that Armando and I both just fucking adore as performers and entertainers. So everything hits exactly where it's supposed to. Everybody stays in their characters. The character arcs end up exactly where they're supposed to be.
Yep.
everything is good here. What I really appreciated about this movie, I think, that I didn't realize in my first couple viewings is how little they focused on race. Because normally when you have an Ice Cube and his white co-star, or a black guy and his Charlie Day co-star, you're gonna lean on race a lot for the jokes.
And they never did.
Almost at all. There's the one joke at the very beginning where Charlie's trying to help him, being Ice Cube, with the coffee maker.
You look like, or not look like you would want, I'll go with medium.
And that's it. It never comes up again.
No, I did like that. And it was, the whole thing was that Ice Cube was just this bad motherfucker. Like that was the only thing. It didn't revolve around race. And the funny thing is, when I first saw it, and they go through the whole, like, when the fight first happens, like when they first announce the fight or whatever, and all of, like, the students, the teachers, they're basically making up, like, the background of Ice Cube. And the very first one is like, oh, he was a drug dealer and he blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, this is where we're going to go into, like, the whole, and it wasn't. It was, he was this, this gang member, and then he was a cop, and then he was part of the military, and he was killing all these people. Like, I thought it was going to start to go down that road, and it never did. And I really liked it because, like you said, typically that's what you get in a movie like this. You have a black and a white co-star, and, like, that's where all the jokes are derived from. And this wasn't like that. So I liked it. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I have zero problems with this film. I mean, obviously, what is it? Fucking a couple years old. It totally stands up.
Oh, yeah.
There's zero problem with it. And that's not to say, like, I've seen movies that were made like 3 years ago where you're like, ooh, that did not hold up very well.
Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But this it's still very relevant. It has the message about the teachers in it, which I have zero problem with. Of course, teachers are fucking treated like shit. Yeah. Fucking just pay attention. Half of you breeders out there should be paying more attention to what's going on in your child's school, and we wouldn't have these fucking problems.
Yes.
Maybe I wouldn't have to pay a goddamn school tax, and nary a sperm has entered an egg in my life.
Well, and the one thing that I did like, and we talked about this in Tales from the Hood and a few other movies about lessons and messages and things. This is how you do it. Mm-hmm. The movie is funny from front to back, but nobody ever comes on screen like, you know what? Teachers aren't paid enough for the bullshit that they put up with on a daily basis. And we need more school books. That they do it in a very intelligent way. The message is there at the end of the movie, but nobody blatantly came out and hit you in the fucking face with it. No, so there is I did like that.
Yeah, there is no Sally Field, Norma Ray rousing teachers union speech to inspire a march on what. Like, none of that shit happens.
Yeah.
So, and no, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Tracy Morgan in this movie.
Of course.
Because it's fucking Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan as Coach Crawford in this film is amazing. And for the 5 minutes of actual screen time that he has in this movie, he fucking, like he does in every other movie that he just crushes it from front to back. And it's great. And he's even really, really, really good in the bloopers that they show and the outtakes during the credits. Like that shit, again, in comedies, I love the outtakes. They're always great.
Oh yeah.
But Tracy Morgan just kills it in this movie for the short amount of time that he's in it.
Yep.
But
every time.
That's all I got. You got anything else for this one?
No, sir.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. And this was 2017's Fist Fight.